Welcome to The Real Build. I'm your host, Bill Ryman, your broker builder. Today, I got a special guest coming all the way from Las Cruces, New Mexico. He got involved with residential building as a high school student, where he took classes in general construction and electrical wiring. He then worked as a plumbing supply, or worked at a plumbing supply shop, and as a framer before leaving on a 2-year proselyting mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Upon returning from missionary service, he attended Brigham Young University and obtained a bachelor's in science degree in construction management while working part-time to gain industry experience. After graduating in 2012, he moved to Las Cruces, where he worked as a superintendent and purchasing manager for a local builder. In 2017, he launched Red Cliff Homes with a dream to serve the Las Cruces community. Ben Beard, I'm excited to have you on. Welcome to The Real Build. How you doing today?
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Excited to have you on. Excited to talk some construction with you. Obviously, in our industry, we got a lot going on. We're
Yes, we
all
do.
getting pretty busy. The building market right now is pretty crazy where I'm at. I'm sure it's the same where you're at as well. So can't wait to
Yeah.
dive into that with you. Always like getting started. Just to talk about your background. Who is Ben Beard?
Well, you get that was a great intro. Thank you for that. Um, so, in addition to that, we're a production home building company here in southern New Mexico. We're right by El Paso, Texas. Just for a little frame of reference, to go north, east, or west out of town, we go through Border Patrol checkpoints. So we are
Oh,
on the border, but it's a great area. I am married. I've got 3 kids with another baby due this weekend. So
congrats.
number 4 coming, and thank you. We're excited about that. Personally, I am busy just with family and church stuff, and I am training to swim the English Channel in a couple of years. So I spend a fair amount of time swimming in my backyard, and my wife is training to compete on American Ninja Warrior. She will start training as soon as she has a baby. So
Tra-
that's who we are.
wow. I'm training to swim the English Channel. So how far of a swim is that?
It is about 21.2 miles.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't
So,
be able to make it a mile. That's very impressive. Very, very impressive. Good for you.
you got to have some kind of hobby, and I'm not for a builder. I'm not great with my hands or with tools, so I'm do what I can. I enjoy it though. It's good exercise and helps me clear my head a little bit.
Yeah, and especially in this industry, you definitely got to have something to clear your head. I mean, I got a lot of builders that listen to the show too, and we're all kind of have our things that kind of get our mind off of, get away from it a little bit because it is craziness constantly. Not one day is the same in our business. So, yeah, that's definitely impressive, especially with what your wife's doing too, as far as American Ninja Warrior. When is she accepted on the show, or is that just a goal she's got?
No, she set the goal right before we got pregnant. Right before she got pregnant, I'm being a little generous there with we, but
That
she set that goal right before she got pregnant, and then of course that put training on hold. But we just right about that time we had just moved into a new home and that we built, and so she's now we built for her American Ninja Warrior training course in the backyard, and so she's excited to use that as soon as she's done with the baby thing.
I can only imagine this backyard. You're gonna have to send me a picture because you got your pool, your swimming laps in. You got an American Ninja
Yeah,
Warrior course set up in the back. I mean, it's probably pretty intense, I'm sure.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
why? So one thing too. Why construction over everything else? Why'd you choose construction? Why'd you do it in college? What was your reasoning?
That's a great question. Sometimes I ask myself that question.
Yeah, we all
Um,
we all
I
do, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just this awesome but crazy stressful world with so many moving parts. I knew grew up, strongly being encouraged or pushed to go to college, and I just did not I wasn't really interested. I didn't like school. Since about seventh grade on, I was famous for sleeping in class. In college, my roommates or friends that where I was in classes with would take pictures of me sleeping in class and text it to me in order to wake me up in class. And so it's just, school was not my favorite thing, but I knew I needed to go. My cousin married a guy that studied construction management, and I was like, you can do that? I was probably 16 at the time. I was like, whoa, man, I didn't know that was a college thing to do construction. All right, if that's, I'll go to college if I can study construction. I was taking these construction classes in high school, and I really enjoyed those. And I just, that's pretty much all I wanted to do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of amazing how our paths always take us to, you know, where we're supposed to be or where we end up and so on. Obviously, you know, my background, I wasn't a fan of school. A lot of my school was, you know, because I wanted to have a football career, so that's why I went to school.
There you go.
You know, college, the same thing. I ended up finishing college. I don't think they offered the college that I went to, construction management. I wish they would have. I did business management and marketing, which a lot of the marketing stuff that I learned, you do not utilize today because it's a whole different world of marketing. So, you know, but a lot of it is hands-on knowledge in this business and a lot of learning and so on. Obviously, you can learn, you know, in school and so on, but when you actually get out there and do it like you're doing too, I'm sure you've learned so much throughout the process. How long have you been doing construction total now?
So I graduated in 2012 and worked for another builder for about just over 5 years, and then I started my own business after that.
And then what made you want to start your own business? Just the experience you got from that other builder, you saw you can do it better, or what was your kind of overall
You know,
goal
it's
with
funny.
it?
There's this business breeds a lot of guys that think they can do it better, that know they can do it better, that just have a desire to be their own boss. Or my situation was a little bit different. I actually really enjoyed my first job, and truly I kind of had that baby boomer mindset of I would love to just get a great job and work there forever, you know, have my entire career there. But there were just some issues and things that I didn't agree with, and eventually I needed to change, and I took a bunch of interviews all over the country, was looking at positions all over the country, and just couldn't find anything. The problem was they were paying me so much that it was hard to go find another job that would pay the same or better with my limited experience. I got to do a lot for the company that I worked for. And so I had the skill set to go take on a much bigger, better position, but being so young and relatively inexperienced in the industry, I couldn't even get interviews for the job that I wanted. And so I was offered several different jobs that didn't pay what I wanted. And so I said, you know what, I got to do something different. In fact, I thought about leaving the industry. I wanted to go back and get my MBA and kind of focus on business a little bit more. And I lived in a neighborhood that was only about halfway built out. There were a bunch of empty lots. Guys had bought these lots out of bankruptcy and the recession. Thought they'd flip them in 2 years, and here they were 10 years later still holding on to them. And so I went to them and said, hey, you know what? Why don't I just build these out for you over the next 18 months? And during that time, I'll study and apply and get into an MBA program, and I'll build these lots out for you and go do that. And they said, well, we like that idea, but we don't want to go that aggressive, but we'll help you get started if you want to start your own company. And I said, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I love that. And going back to what I said too, it's crazy how your pathway takes you. Obviously, you being a man of God, I am too. It's crazy the direction God leads us in life and so on. And I mean, and was there a time, obviously you being involved with the church too, because I obviously brushed on that in your intro, and I'd love to touch on that a little bit too, because I know it's important to you. Was there a time that, you know, kind of God spoke to you and said this was the right path for you to go?
You know, that's funny. I actually am just writing a chapter of a book, compilation book that's going to be a bunch of different entrepreneurial authors that'll be coming out next month, called Ignite the Entrepreneur, that I'm really excited about. But I essentially wrote my story of, I call it revelation by seizure, but as I look back, I've had 3 seizures in my life.
Wow.
And each one changed the course of my life and pushed me to essentially to get into construction and to do what I'm doing now. Hopefully I don't have any more seizures and I'm on the right path, or at least I can be a little bit more open and not have to get such a big smack over the head to change direction if that needs to happen again. But yeah, definitely I feel like I was led to do what I'm doing, and I'm grateful for that. We've got a lot of big dreams and goals with our company, and the impact that we'd like to make in our community locally, and then take that to a larger scale. So
we'll talk about that too. And that's an unbelievable, that's amazing story. I'd say it's a heck of a punch in the face too that God gave you there. We've all had it. I've said my story in the past. I've gone through a lot of trials and stuff throughout my life too. We all have to kind of get to where we are. But let's brush on what you're saying. You want to make an impact in your community as a construction professional too. You have big goals. Obviously we'll touch on your goals a little bit later, but what kind of impact are you thinking as far as your community? How are you contributing? This kind of goes with anybody looking for a builder too. They should be looking for a builder that cares about cares about the community that's involved. So what are you doing to make an impact within the community? So
you mentioned in my intro that I took classes in high school. I mentioned that as being part of my journey, and that's gone away from most schools. Mike Rowe does a great job talking about the issue. It used to be industrial arts, and then it got changed to, I can't remember the evolution that he walks through, but it went from industrial arts to essentially to shop. And once it became shop, it was just, it's easy to chop that out. Budget's tight, let's chop that. But we really need these industrial arts, the skilled construction trades. When I was in high school, we had a cabinet making class. We had a full auto shop. We had a general construction class where we built a full home. We started on an empty lot the first day of school, and by the end of the year, it was pretty much a finished house, all built, except for a few, things that they couldn't have kids do for liability reasons. Even back in those days, still it wasn't that long ago, but back in those days, we could still climb up in the trusses, and we put all the trusses up. We did everything, man.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic experience. And then through the community college, we went around and wired all the houses that were built by the schools in the school district. And then there was a plumbing class and an HVAC class too. And so I got to have this experience that taught me a lot about the industry. And it's the schools that we're working with right now. We're saying, well, we need to get these kids some kind of certification, or we want to get. And they kind of have to do that because they've got funding requirements that require that. And as a builder, I'm going, I don't care if they come out of school with some certificate. I don't need that. I just want kids that want to work and that are interested in the industry. So we're working, Redcliffe Homes and our Builders Association are working with our local public schools to try and get those classes back into skilled trade classes. So we had one of our 4 local public high schools last year, 2019, fall of 2019 is when they started their shop class. The old shop classroom had been turned into a storage room / practice area for the theater department. And that summer we went in and demoed all their stage and everything they had built in there, and turned it back into a shop class. And they had, before we had even done that, they had 144 kids, I think it was, sign up for that class. They didn't even have a teacher at the time.
Wow.
But they just said, hey, we're going to offer this class again. And 144 kids said, yep, I'm in. And then they got, that first semester, the classroom wasn't quite ready. There was some issues, some politics at the school board, and it took forever to get sorted out. We're still trying to sort it all out. but they were only partially operational that first half of the year, and then of course the second half of the year they were shut down from COVID, spring of 2020, and still fall of 2020, they're back in school, and they had more kids sign up the second year than they had the first year, even though the second half is virtual learning. The first half they weren't very effective. Now this second school year, it's been even more just online classes, online learning, but they still got more kids signing up. I think it's 175 kids or something. And they got another 150 on the wait list. Like, kids want this stuff. We've had such a push kids to go to college, and that's just not right for every kid. And we get so many kids coming out of colleges these days, no idea what they want to do. They've been there for 5 or 6 years, wasting their life, drinking too much, and $60,000 in student loan debt. And then they go get a $30,000 a year job, and that just doesn't work. Then they can't buy a home, they can't start a family. It just screws up a lot of stuff. So we need to just get more kids going straight out of high school into the trades, for those that can and those that want to.
I'm a big believer in what you just said too, and when I was in high school too, and man, time flies, but we had a construction tech class. I remember going to that class. I looked forward to that class too, and it was something different. I don't even know if they do it anymore. If I had to guess, probably not, because of politics, danger, stuff like that, parents getting involved, who knows. But it should be there. What you said too, it's not all about pushing kids to go to college. They should be able to make the choice to go to college. There's a lot of people that I know that don't have a college degree, my dad being one of them, and has a lot of success, also a lot of friends and so on, and people that I know that are entrepreneurs that, they started from, and I obviously went to college. I got a college degree. I stopped for a while after I got hurt with football, and then I ended up going back to finish. But I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm doing now, I didn't need college for. And I talk about all that all the time, and it's good in some ways it's not. I think the education system in college in general should probably be revamped. I think the education system altogether should, and be a little bit more modern, or a little more towards entrepreneurship, starting a business and so on, rather than working for a corporation, is kind of the direction they're pushing you. And there's nothing wrong with that if you make that choice, but it's like you said too, you get out of school, you're in a ton of debt, you work for a corporation, you're not getting paid much, it's unaffordable to live, you're just struggling constantly for many, many years, when you can have an opportunity going into the construction trades, knowing things, even learning more as you get in and work your way up the ladder, even have a sales position in the construction sales and in the construction industry too, where you're not tapped out on a salary. And it's just, there's so many different things you can do that kids aren't really getting pushed to do. And you just said, there's a prime example that there is kids that want to do it. They just never had the opportunity to. 170 something kids that said, yeah, we want to do this class. Heck yeah. It's something where we could actually work with our hands instead of sitting on an iPad in a classroom.
Well, to me, the 176 kids is great. Well, what's even better is the fact that to get that number, they had to bring on a second teacher, and there's still 150 kids on the wait list wanting to get in.
Yeah, just imagine that everywhere else. How many kids want to do that too, because it's not offered. Yeah. That's crazy.
So that's the impact we're trying to make, is to bring back those classes. And then with the schools not doing or not being able to use that money fast enough because they've been doing online learning, we've been working with the public schools as well to offer some entrepreneurship and finance education stuff as well, because they need that. That's the practical stuff that they need today.
Mm-hmm. Highly agree. Love that. Love what you're doing there. let's get into you and construction a little bit. I've saw on your website, you say we build and sell amazing homes in Las Cruces that exceed expectations without exceeding your budget. So explain how you're doing this, and how, you're kind of what this means and the strategy behind this.
Yeah, so we are a production focused home builder. We're just getting started. Our first year we closed 27 homes, second year 39, last year we did 63. Our goal is 85 this year. We're right now on pace to do another 65 or so this year. We got some land pipeline issues that are slowing us down a little bit more than we wanted this year. But we try and keep it very simple. We've traditionally been very, very spec heavy, not a ton of pre-sales. We're getting to the point now that we need to start doing more pre-sales and would like to start doing that now that we've got some new subdivisions opening up. But my philosophy is, so I am my own ideal client. I design homes that I would want to live in for a young family, young professionals, a couple of kids, and that fits a pretty good chunk of the market that we're selling to. It happens that a lot of the things that appeal to me also appeal to the retiree buyer, which is a big buyer demographic in my market here in southern New Mexico. And so it works out great. It just kind of, we stumbled into that. All of a sudden one day look up and realize, oh my gosh, we're selling half of these homes to people that are old enough to be my parents or grandparents. That wasn't our intention, but why is that? And started looking at it and going, oh, okay, they want a lot of the same things, the home automation and ability to check in on the home from a distance if they're just here for part of the year or whatever. So I design homes for myself and people like me and try and make it a high-end kind of custom home feeling, but a very simple process. Like I said, we're mostly specs, so we pick color palettes that we think are going to be popular. My wife and I do that together. We've just watched a lot of HGTV. Neither of us has a degree in design or anything, but my wife's got a pretty good eye. In fact, I just walked some homes today that she had picked some new color palettes to kind of refresh things and update them. And I walked into a home today and went, dang, this looks good. And I had nothing to do with picking the colors out, which was fantastic. So we try and give it that high-end feeling, and we include as much as we can possibly include in the base price of the home. Everybody's going to need a garage door opener. Everybody's going to need blinds. Everybody's going to want pendant lights. They want some basic home automation. They want structured wiring pre-wires. They want, maybe some speakers pre-wired. So we throw in as much of that as we can, but still trying to keep an affordable price point. Sure, we could throw in a few more things and jack the prices another 15, 20 grand, but that just cuts out so many buyers. So we're trying to be as affordable as we can, but still make the home as nice as we possibly can.
And just explain for the audience too, when you say production home builder, I brushed on this, but just explain what you mean by production home builder.
So we've got our set floor plans. We pretty much build only on our lots, our floor plans, a list of pre-selectable options you can choose from, not a whole ton of customization. We're considering doing some on your lot building, but keeping it with just our floor plans rather than going to a true custom home.
Got you. Okay. And then if you do build on you're not really doing anything yet for clients. You're just doing spec right now, pretty much.
Yeah, we're like 95% spec.
Okay. And how are you taking as far as price adjustments and all that with the high kind of lumber prices and so on? How are you dealing with that on your specs?
We got into kind of a weird pattern last fall. To be honest, it worked out pretty great. That we had already released a bunch of homes, and then we were in a lull waiting for some new land before we could start more homes. And so everything that we had released and pre-priced, because we wanted to pre-sell, but we were starting them as fast as, before we could even pre-sell A lot of times we'd sell homes before there was a foundation or before it was in frame or finished framing, but we would, we at that point everything was ordered. We didn't allow a lot of changes. And so our budgets were locked in, and our work orders and purchase orders were released on all those houses before lumber started going too crazy. And then it just kept going up and up and up. And so we just said, you know what, now we've got more land and more lots. We're going to start some new homes, but instead I'm not going to pre-price them. I'm not going to pre-release them to sales. I'm just going to wait, get them framed. And then I know what my budget is and know what my costs are going to be, and I'll lock in a price at that point. And so we did that, and that's worked for a little while. Now we're trying to figure out, as we've got a couple of new subdivisions opening over the next 6 weeks, that we've got to figure out how are we going to offer pre-sales in a crazy lumber market environment. Are we going to put an escalation clause in there that is not really standard for a production or spec home builder? Or are we going to just jack the price up and hope that we don't lose our butts on these homes?
Yeah, and that's the challenge I was going to ask you too. Is it's tough because so many different materials, not just lumber, keep going up on the custom home build. I mean, we've always been a cost plus builder. We're a custom builder. We do specs here and there, but majority of our stuff is all custom for clients, and we're doing a lot more of the higher end stuff right now too. And I have to basically constantly, before we got on this podcast, I was on the phone with a potential customer. I told him, I was like, I'm going to do my best to try and get you the best pricing with our subcontractors. I can't guarantee anything. We've always been cost plus, but right now with lumber, and this guy, thank God, is in the construction industry. He understands, a typical customer isn't going to understand that, okay, stucco's going up, lumber, appliances are hard to get, fixtures, plumbing materials all going up, like our sprinkler piping's going up. Like, it's just because it's supply and demand right now. And with you pre-selling these homes, it becomes even more challenging because you're going to have to face those delays. You're going to have to face, okay, what if you don't have an appliance in, and then you sell the house and then the appliance is 6 months out from getting in? How are you going to deal with that? So what do you see how are you planning to deal with this? What should customers look for on that end if they are going with a production home? How should somebody deal with these issues?
Yeah, the good news for us is that we release all of our work orders and purchase orders at the start of construction. So my appliance guy gets his PO the same day as the concrete finisher and the surveyor. Mm-hmm. So they've got, the 4 months it's going to take us to build a home, 4 or 5 months to know, hey, well, this is how many sets of appliance packages we're going to need. We use a lot of the same stuff over and over and over. Okay. And so it's stuff that they generally stock, but now they're, having trouble getting stock. So, we just closed a couple of homes last week that were supposed to have fridges, that those fridges won't come in for another week or two. Fortunately, the buyer was able to wait, but it's a challenge. I'm trying to find a second backup painter right now, and I got guys telling me they're not even sure they can get enough paint to cover the houses we've got. So, I was like, really, paint? And then I talked to two or three different painters, and they're all like, yeah, man, we can't get paint. We had to. One of our homes in process, thankfully it was a spec home that's not sold yet, but we had to switch to a different type of paint because they just didn't have the paint that we normally use. So, my electrician just raised his price, 13% a month ago, and just emailed me again last week saying, hey, prices are going up again next month. Sorry, we just can't keep up with the cost of copper going up now. Mm-hmm. And steel, we're paying twice as much for the metal in a foundation as we used to. So it's that big risk for me as a spec home builder is, can I get the materials? Can I get it at a reasonable price? Or do I just wait until it's built to lock in a price? And that's, right now with inventory being tight on the market, our market at least is in record lows of available inventory on the market. It would be a fantastic time to go just pre-price a bunch of these homes in these new subdivisions as they open up and say, here's what we're going to build, come buy it now. But I don't know how fast I can build it. I don't know what it's going to cost me to build it. I have a rough budget, but by the time that thing's finished, that budget could be totally shot to heck. So it's an interesting time. I think buyers just have to kind of understand that. We as construction professionals and our salespeople have to be able to explain to the buyer, hey, look, we are shooting for these timelines. We are as anxious, if not more anxious than you are, to get this house finished and get it closed and get you moved in. But we're limited right now. There's been a huge trade shortage that's only getting worse right now. There's now this material shortage because of factories being shut down for so long and things. So we're all in it together. Just gotta help each other out where we can and help our consumers to understand it.
Yeah, and it's like I said, setting that expectation before you start the job too, because I mean, it's just there's a lot. It's hard to say what is going to happen in the next 6 months. I mean, we don't know. Obviously, with us too, on our end here in Florida, it takes a lot longer to build houses because there's so much structural work to them. We're taking for a 4,000 square foot house, it's taking us 16, 18 months to build the thing. So,
wow.
Yeah. There's our build times are very, they're long, and it's not because we're twiddling our thumbs to the listener out there. It's just because there's so much that goes into the houses down here, pilings, concrete work, and from the ground up, it's just a ton of little things that kind of add up. But with timelines and time frames, and it's just hard. And I see where you're coming from too, because you got, okay, I can pre-price these things. I'm at risk of losing money, or I can hold off to the end and I'm still at risk of losing money, because what if the economy decides to, put a halt on everything because of the supply chain issues? So,
well, not only that, I'm going out sourcing all these materials and all this labor, but I'm also having to source capital. I've got to come up with a ton of money to keep 30 homes in process at a time and get up to the 40, 50 homes I'd like to have in process all the time.
Yeah.
So that's been a big challenge.
Do you think, and I'd like to answer or ask this question as of recent, do you think that there is going to be, obviously there will be a slowdown eventually in the economy? What do you think is going to cause that slowdown? Do you think it's going to be the supply chain? Do you think it's, obviously real estate too keeps going up and up. Interest rates remain low. There's no plan in 2021 to increase interest rates from what they are saying. So what do you see happening if you had your crystal ball in front of you?
Well, I thought your crystal ball question was going to be on when I think it's going to go, but
yeah, or when too. Yeah, please say when.
So I was actually serving as missionary for my church at that time in 2007 to 2009 when things just crashed. I left on my mission. Things were still super hot. Everybody's flipping houses. Everybody's building houses. Market's going crazy, and I come back and it's dead. I mean, when I did one semester of college before, and there was a wait list. You had to take an intro class, and there was a wait list to get into the construction management degree. By the time I graduated, well, about 2 years later when I got back, there was an application, but everybody was getting in. And by the time I graduated, the program was a third of what it had been. And now they've combined it with a facilities management program because there wasn't enough volume of students going through it to keep two separate programs. So it's sad to see that. But looking at the future, I say that backstory just to say that I don't really have a great sense for, I don't have a gut feeling, which is my biggest fear right now, because I don't know what to think. I kind of have these feelings in my gut, but I don't know where they're coming from. And so I read as much as I can, the different builder publications and different economic publications, and Forbes and Wall Street Journal and, Pro Builder, Builder Magazine, all these things. And I'm just trying to get an idea of what's going on. So I think as far as what, I don't know. I think costs of materials and availability of materials certainly is going to slow some things down this year. But the demographic trends all say that we've got a big backlog of buyers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going away. There's a huge housing shortage. But at the same time, I think if interest rates tick up significantly, we're gonna be hurting. So that's been my biggest fear is interest rates more so than anything. I think we're gonna suffer from pricing increases, cost increases, and from lack of availability. I think we're just gonna get through those. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna be ugly, but we're gonna get through that. But ultimately, I would assume probably interest rates are the biggest factor in causing the bubble to burst.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I have that gut feeling. Obviously supply issues is a main thing, but we'll get the supply. It's just being produced. They're trying to play catch up pretty much. And
yeah.
The thing is the increases too. What keeps going up and up must come down, because if it keeps increasing, you're losing buyers because you're pricing people out of the market is what's happening. So, and then there's also people going to hold off too. I know a few customers I was dealing with that said, you know what, it's a little crazy right now. I'm not desperate. We got a place. I deal with a lot of second homeowners. They're not desperate to build right away. So we're going to hold off and, see how things shake out a little bit here in the next few months to a year. And hopefully it all slows back down, blah, blah, blah. So, they're basically saying that interest rates aren't going to tick up this year. If they do, it'll probably be next year to keep things, going to where it just doesn't go crazy and people just completely pull away. My opinion on it, I think when it comes fall time, things are going to be different. And I think in the fall, are they going to be better? No, not saying that, but I think, because of supply issues, stuff like that, things are going to kind of tick back a little bit in all directional markets and so on. And then I had a real estate professional on that specializes in short sales and stuff like that. And I guess that COVID relief on mortgages ends in September as well. So that should be interesting what happens with that. If more government relief goes out because of that to stop a mortgage crisis from happening, or if there will be one. But I know a lot of people haven't been paying their mortgages. So that banks are going to have their hands out saying, where's my money? Or some money. So that.
Well, but at the same time, those people are going to get kicked out of their homes, but they got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So then you got an investor. I mean, the build to rent market in single family housing is becoming a bigger and bigger piece of that every year for the last several years. And so, you get a bunch of people kicked out of their homes. They're going to turn more than likely come back and rent that same home because if there's not new supply coming on the market.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It definitely should be an interesting time coming up. So hold on to your seats.
It's a weird position because depending on where you're at, I think we've got a few good years from what I'm hearing and seeing. All the industry experts that I'm following are saying, we've got 21 is going to be great. 22 should be great. 23 is starting to get a little dicey, but who knows? I'm buying some lots in a subdivision right now that are 30% more than the last phase of the previous subdivision. And that terrifies me to think I've got to raise my prices by that much. But, all the other builders' prices are going up too. And I don't know, we're going to go for it, make the best of it, make hay while the sun's shining. And then we'll see about the next phase after that.
Yeah, and that's all you can do. I mean, I've been asked, should we hold off? Should we hold off? And it's a personal preference. I tell people too. I mean, can I predict the future that, or can we predict the future that things are going to go down anytime soon? No. Are they going to keep going up? We don't know. That's the thing. If you're ready to build a house right now, build a house. And if that's what you want to do, do it. Because not doing it, things can just continue to tick up. Maybe you're not, by you waiting, then you have to pay more in the long run. We don't know. And you just have to be the judge of it as a customer. And that's what I tell people.
Hey, if you buy today, are you going to overpay? Maybe, but wait long enough and somebody else will overpay too.
Yeah.
As long as you could rent it out and cover your mortgage, just the biggest thing is don't over leverage yourself as a consumer, and, don't lose your mind when home values start going down. Don't sell. Rent it out for a couple of years. Even if you are losing $50, $100 a month, just rent it out for a few years and then sell when the market comes back. I know people that did that and saved themselves a lot of money and headache.
Yeah. We can't predict the future. So, but we can just do our jobs and do our best work at it too. And, go from there. I mean, it's as far as you two, you've said, your team of seasoned construction and salespeople are committed to building strong, long-lasting relationships with clients. So let's go back into the building end of things a little bit. How are you maintaining long-lasting relationships with your clients? What should people look for in a builder that, similar to you, where you maintain that and there's a warranty? What are you doing?
Yeah, so we're working, and it's obviously a working process. We're a 4-year-old company that, to be totally honest with you, my longest team member's been with me about a year now. We've had a lot of turnover last year. We had a couple of guys decide they wanted to go start their own businesses last year, and a couple of other people leave for different reasons, and so we've been growing a lot. I've grown and changed a lot. My vision and goals for our company and for my life have changed dramatically over the last 4 years. I joke with my wife. We got married about 9 years ago, and I think about it all the time. I'm like, man, who I was 9 years ago would not even recognize who I am today. And even 4 years ago when we started the company, my mindset has shifted dramatically. Because of my mentors and what I'm taking in, what I'm consuming as far as the books I read and the podcasts and things that I listen to. So our vision really is to serve our customer and to give our customers peace of mind. We want to build peace of mind. When I think of home, I think of the place where I want to be surrounded by a great environment that's comfortable, and I want to feel safe in my home. I want to feel, I don't know, comfortable is probably the best word. And so we're trying to create that for our customers, and so we do that through a number of different things. We actually pay for our buyers' third-party inspection. So they have an independent source telling them that, yes, this was built right and built with quality products and is done right. And that's kind of a pain in the butt. Sometimes those inspectors, when they're getting paid to find something, they're going to find something, whether it's something little or something big. And sometimes they catch us with something that should not have happened. And I, that could be embarrassing or that could be frustrating, but I'm grateful for it because I don't want to turn over a home that I don't feel comfortable with. And so we've started to do that. We pay for their third-party inspection. We call that our peace of mind guarantee. We are working on improving our warranty process. We do a 30-day walkthrough after closing, take care of any punch list items that may have been missed before closing or that they've just noticed during those first 30 days. You do a drywall punch on a house, you do a blue tape around the paint touch-ups, and you walk it with the buyer. You could walk that house every day for a week and find new touch-ups every single day.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
You know that. And so those things are going to come up in the first 30 days. So we take care of it at 30 days. Then we contact them again at 6 months. And this is not, hey, call us at 6 months and we'll come out. or call us at 11 months and we'll come out. We actually are proactively scheduling these appointments 30 days, 60 days, or 6 months out and 11 months out. So that we're actively engaging the customer saying, hey, is there something we missed? Is there something you need us to take care of? And trying to just build that peace of mind and build a little bit of relationship with our customers and our clients.
Yeah, I took a lot out of what you said right there too. So I'm gonna brush on some of the stuff you said. First thing too is, your mentorship. When you had that vision change, you with what you're reading and getting into personal development, so on. I'm personally big on that. It's changed a lot in my life too. I have a lot of mentors. I'm part of a group called Arte Syndicate, just filled with a ton of like-minded people that just want to do business the right way, take care of people, help each other, and so on. And I'm big on what you said there, because it does make a difference in a lot of what you do, and especially learning from these high achievers too, because they got there doing it right. And that's the thing. So give you a lot of credit as far as that on your mentorship and your kind of personal development path too, because a lot changes when you do that within your business.
Oh, I mean, it's been a dramatic shift in the last 12 months, last 18 months. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I can only imagine too. And another thing too that you brushed on, and you've said this already, is you build homes where you would want to live, or where you would be comfortable too.
Yeah.
So I have that same mentality in a lot of different ways, to where I'm so picky, as to if it was my own home, to where you're just not building these things and saying, okay, I'm making money, that's it, I'm out on to the next one, make a quick buck. Especially in what you're doing. We're not doing as many homes as you, and you're doing, 60 homes to 80 something homes, and you still have that mentality for each and every home like it is your own, like it matters to you. And that's where I see the difference between you and probably a lot of other builders out there. And that's what's going to keep leveling you up big time. And is that you do care so much about what you're doing in your product.
Well, that's the challenge as we grow and scale. How can we help our entire team feel that way? And ultimately, I mean, the dream is, how can we get our subcontractors and suppliers to feel that way? You get the pissed off trim guy that writes "F this builder" in their closet, and the buyer sees that, and where's your confidence in the builder and in their subs? And you just can't have stuff like that happen. And so that's my biggest role. I wear about 6 seats in our company right now as we're trying to grow and scale. But my biggest role, I feel, is to help our team feel that sense of ownership, to buy into our mission. Our mission is to create new beginnings by building beautiful, comfortable homes for our clients, and helping them to see that and understand what that means. I look at every time I purchased a new home over the last several years. I'm in my 5th or 6th home in Las Cruces in the last 9 years. We move a little too much, probably. We call this our long-term home because we plan to be here for 3 to 5 years. But every time I've moved, my life has changed. Our lifestyle changes a little bit. The way we do things changes, and it's just a chance to start over. As we move, we throw some stuff away, and we kind of clean out and refocus on what's most important. What do we actually value? And that's the feeling I want our homeowners to have, that they see their home and they get excited about, hey, my life is different than it was when I lived at my old address.
Yeah.
So, and then helping transfer that feeling to our team as we grow.
And that's a challenge too, and you brushed on this at the beginning, is hiring tradespeople that really have that same passion as you, or have that same vision as you with the homes too, that do it the way you want it done in the correct way, and obviously that takes time. you find the right subs to work with, but you still have to, subcontractors, contractors over time can, prices start going up, they creep up. You got to bid others to keep them honest and so on too. And it is a challenge. It's one of the challenges in the construction business is finding loyal people that have that same vision, that still want to produce the superior product, that see your vision and what you want. That's one of my sales pitches to our potential clients is, our subcontractors, some of them think we're crazy. Our painters think we're crazy just because we, on our punch out, we're so extensive on the punch out system and how we do it and how many times we do it. And it's like you said, you can walk through and you'll see something new. I do that. I mark it as I'm walking through, but we do pretty extensive, punch outs to where I really want it as minimal as a list as possible for each and every client during that walkthrough. Obviously, you're going to have some stuff, odds and ends, as guys are going through towards the final stages. They might nick something up. We had one where we just closed on a house and so somebody chipped a piece of tile on a step, and we're just like, where the heck did this come from? And obviously, lo and behold, they deny it. Nobody did it, and we don't know who did it, and guess who has to pay for it to fix it? So it's just finding those people, that work well with you is a challenge, but it's possible, and that to deliver that superior product.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing you talked about too is improved your warranty process too. We're big on this. This goes back to the punch out thing. How can we as builders have a better warranty process? Obviously, standard warranties are 1 year. What are you doing beyond that to maintain those relationships and keep the customer as, a good referral to go back on as well?
So our focus is certainly on the first year, and it wasn't always, if I could have, when I started the company, if I could have hired a third-party warranty company to come in and step in day one, I would have done that. I'd pay honestly whatever it took, because warranty is not my favorite thing. And I when I started, I spent as little time doing that as possible. But it got to the point where especially because I live in the neighborhoods that I build in, and I got to the point where I didn't want to go outside or see my neighbors because I was embarrassed that we weren't really taking care of them. And I'm actively involved in the community with our Home Builders Association and trying to be just generally involved with the community. And I have sold a few homes to people I go to church with and things. And I don't ever want to feel uncomfortable around them that we've not provided a remarkable level of service to them. And so I've started over the last year to put a lot more focus on that and say, you know what, I'm not going to do it. We're going to take care of people. We're going to do a great job for them at taking care of their home. They've invested a ton of money. How long did they save for that down payment? How long did they work to qualify for that mortgage? Yeah, it's an entry-level home. It's under $200,000, but how often do you really spend $200,000? And just because for me, that's an entry-level affordable home, doesn't mean for them that's not, 10 times bigger than the largest purchase they ever thought they'd make in their life. It's a big deal for somebody to buy a new home. And we as builders and contractors need to honor that with the service we provide. At the same time, it's a big deal for our people to show up and work their butts off every day to produce those. And hopefully the consumer appreciates that. Certainly as a business owner, I want to appreciate my people and my subcontractors and suppliers for everything they do, because we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah, it is. And what you said there is so key. It is appreciation for the product that you deliver to the customer too. I mean, warranty, let's face it, no builder looks forward to warranty period and so on. It's can be very nitpicky at times too. You have your customers there's differences in customers that you deal with during the warranty period. I have a customer that loves doing stuff themselves, and you know, they don't want to we every time they call, I hate to bother you, you get that, you know. And then you have the
Oh, wow,
other
you got nice customers.
you know, that's a rare one. That's the rare one, because then I was going into the next ones where, you know, every little issue, every tiny little thing needs to be resolved, and it needs to be resolved right away. So it's obviously, as a company, I have somebody I hired that is full-time on warranty, and they're full-time on resolving the warranty, getting the subcontractors there to resolve any kind of issues, in constant contact every single day with how can we get these things taken care of. And if it goes down the chain to me, then I'm the one that calls them as well. If she can't get it done, obviously, or she can't get them there and they're putting it off and so on, then I'm the next one where they don't really want to talk to me, subconscious, because yeah, it's not as pleasant getting them over there, because you know, we're very strict on getting things done, doing it right, and having our customers be happy. And that's kind of how we built our reputation too, is taking care of the client as much as we can, to an extent. I mean, there's some stuff too that we get called about, and they want us involved, but we shouldn't be involved. You know, it's not really our fault. Where if they were renting a house and their microwave blew up, and they're calling us saying, you need to contact somebody for me about my microwave. Well, your renter blew it up. That's not really, it avoids the warranty in general, and it's not really our problem, you know, and we got to explain that to them. So it's just, warranty is a tricky thing in some ways, but it is what you make of it. We try and make it the best we possibly can and better experience that we possibly can to take care of clients. Also, after the 1 year, we don't want them to feel like we just disappear. That's one of my things as well. I still want them to be able to call us, kind of have that concierge, that middleman, to have stuff resolved still too. So we stay top of mind in their heads as, yeah, we built the house. So continue that relationship. I'm big on that. Not a lot of builders are, but I am. And I feel like if you're building a Ryman home, you should be in a relationship with us the whole entire period that you're in that home. Even when you sell it, I still want to take care of the new homeowner because it is our product. So that's kind of how I've shifted our company. And it's been really good. It's just like, you know, I mean, you got some warranty issues that are just a bit ridiculous that you're just like, you know.
Yeah, well, and I think one of the biggest problems in the construction industry, I don't know if you've ever read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, but
write that
he
down.
talks about technicians versus technicians having an entrepreneurial seizure as opposed to an entrepreneur. You know, it's a chronic problem in the construction industry. The people that you know, a trim guy that is really good at trim finally gets sick of his boss yelling at him and says, screw you, I'm going to go do this on my own. He goes out and he gets his license and he starts his own trim company and he's killing it. But then all of a sudden he's got too much work and he's got to go hire somebody, but he doesn't know how to hire somebody. He just knows how to do trim. Great skill, but doing trim is not running a business. And so he hires some guy that helps him for a while and then leaves him, doesn't show up for work, doesn't show up on time, and he doesn't know how to motivate and train and help that guy to perform as a great employee. And so he fires him and hires another one, and the process just repeats. And then he's successful, so he hires 3 or 4 or 5 of them, and then all of a sudden he's got 15 guys screwing up trim work all over town. He's running around just trying to clean it up and fix it and make it right, and doesn't ever have time to work on his business. He's just so busy working in his business. And that's a lot of construction companies. And so it's a mindset shift to say, you know what, we are not just a construction company. We're a sales company that happens to sell a massive, very expensive product that can't go anywhere. It's a fixed in place product, but we are a sales and a marketing and a service company. The product we produce is just really large and expensive and it has a lot of moving pieces. But it's that mindset shift to really look at our industry differently and help builders see that we are business people as much as we are contractors, or we should be, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Love it. Love that big time. It is true though too. It's there's so many pieces to what we do. We just aren't building that structure that's in place. It is a sales company. It's a full on corporation that is assisting a customer on one of the biggest purchases of their lifetime. I mean, hands down. And you're building them something they're gonna create memories and be in forever, or sell, or and they got to make income, or if they do sell it, you want that. And that's the mentality I go into the design process too. I'm in real estate, so I'm always thinking ahead of, okay, what if you go to sell this, or what? I mean, it could be your forever home. You can say it is going to be, but there always is a what if, something happens and you do have to sell it. Obviously, as a custom builder, we're going to do what you want, but I'm going to give my recommendations along the way as well. So loved what you said there for sure. One thing I wanted to brush on, because we're getting to the end here, and before I get into some personal questions with you, we talked about this a little bit through email. I wanted to talk about your core values because they are so important, and especially to you and your business. So what are your core values? Let's talk about them. How are you implementing them within your company? Because this is huge for anybody even buying or building a home too. They should go with somebody that has a structured set of core values. So let's talk about yours.
Yeah, so we look at it not just as the core values, but our mission, our vision, and our values. Okay. Our mission, we create new beginnings by building beautiful, comfortable homes. Our vision, our big long-term vision, is I want to build 1 million homes in my lifetime. You think about it, the average home lasts 50 plus years. That's 50 million Christmas mornings. How many anniversaries, birthday parties, how many people can we touch by building 1 million homes? That's my big long-term goal. And what does that take? To become a top 10 national builder and build, 20,000 to 50,000 homes a year for a long time to really make that happen. So that's my lifetime goal. That's not, get rich quick and blow this thing up and then sell it or whatever. This is to me really personal, and it's my life's work, so to speak. So I want, my team needs to understand what are we trying to do? Why are we doing it? We're creating that new beginning for our buyers every time they move into that new home. Why are we doing it, or how are we going to do that? We're going to blow this thing up and get huge and impact as many people as we can. Now, the how we do it is through our core values. We are inspirational. We are disciplined. We're accountable. We're transparent. We're aligned, and we're results oriented. Those are our 6 core values, and those really come from one of my mentors who we're working with very closely to shape our business and build out what it's going to take to become that top 10 national home building company that we'd like to be one day.
Yeah, and core values are definitely going to be a key to that. They are very, very important in any kind of business that anybody is running, but having that structure of those values and having you basically, when people go to work for you, they know that you have to go by these core values. This is what represents us in this business. That is key to your success in your company as well.
Well, and so often core values are just a thing you slap on the wall, and you maybe talk about it once when you hire somebody, and then they never hear it again. But the reason we have these 6 core values, these 6 words, is that it creates a framework for handling a problem. I got an issue with an employee. How do I inspire them and then hold them accountable and make them be disciplined on their own? Be transparent about the problem, get them aligned with the company and the direction we're going, and help them understand that their results matter. Looking at it as this framework for communication and implementing it and talking about it every day. We do a team call every single day with the full sales, construction team, operations, everybody. And we talk about our daily training. We talk about our mission, our vision, our values. We've started recognizing my superintendent's track on a tracker every week, their contractor of the week and tradesperson of the week, who out there exemplified one of our core values this week, or who went above and beyond and just kicked butt this week. And then we just did last week our first trade recognition, trade appreciation barbecue with the trade of the month from last month. So just trying to build that into the fabric of the business and weave that into the culture so that it's inseparable, that there never can become that opportunity for somebody to just go, yeah, I'm just here for a paycheck. No, if you don't believe in our mission, if you don't believe that it's important for people to have the chance to start over and create a new life for themselves when they buy a Red Cliff home, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I love that, man. I really do, because it's so big what you just said, and I can definitely see your passion behind it in the company. I have no doubt you're going to be that top 10 builder in the country. So, I mean, no doubt about it. Getting to the end here because of time, obviously, I'd love to ask these personal questions. I ask these same questions to every guest. So, my favorite question of the show, what about you personally? What lessons have you learned throughout your journey that we should all apply to our own business or lives that can help us grow?
So we just talked about the one, look at this business as a sales and marketing business as much as it's a construction business. It's huge. And, one of my biggest mentors is Grant Cardone and the 10X movement. 10X just means it's a multiplier. It means whatever you want to achieve is going to be 10 times, it's going to take 10 times more effort than you think it's going to take. Mm-hmm. And if you want a certain result, if you want to live off of a certain amount of money, well, to create that lifestyle that you want is probably going to take 10 times more money than you think it's going to take. So think bigger. I view America as a place where everybody could be wealthy if we all wanted to, because there's no reason that the guy building a house can't afford. There shouldn't be any reason why the guy building the house can't afford the house he's building. We look at that with our labor guys. How can we inspire them? Well, so many of them look at it. This house is something they could never afford, but if we can help them to see that, if you change your lifestyle and save and do things right, yeah, you could afford this house one day. And if we can help them to see that, they're going to put a lot more effort and energy into that house every time.
I love that. Yeah, I love that answer. I'm a big believer in what you just said right there. I think everybody has opportunity, especially in this country. We're all dealt, and I'm a big advocate on play the cards you've been dealt. We're all dealt different hands, some better than others. Obviously, some are dealt some, real crappy hands, but you have opportunity. There's always a way out. How you pursue wherever direction you go, we have that choice. And I'm a big firm believer in the power of choice. God gives us choices all the time. We can go A or B. If we choose one way, it's going to take us towards our goals in our lives. Or if we choose the other way, it's going to keep us kind of flatlining or take us the opposite direction. So I'm a big believer in what you said. And as far as opportunity being in this country and so on, it's just how people act upon it. The 10X rule, obviously, I know that book and Grant Cardone and his movement too. And it is true. I mean, you put in 10X effort, you're going to pass up a lot of people in this world. You really are. And because I'm sure you see it too in your personal development journey and so on, the more stuff you continue to do, like you're coming on this podcast, you didn't have to do this. You made the time to do it because you never know, this can do something for you. I've had people on this podcast that have gotten jobs and so on because people searched them, and I do this podcast every single week. I take my time to do it, but it's a little thing that could lead to a lot of things, and those little things that people aren't willing to do, those are the things that get you to that 10x level or multiply you and so on in life. So big advocate on what you said right there. Highly, highly agree. So keep doing what you're doing on that aspect. Another quick question for you. Most people ask about your past. Not a lot of people ask about your future. So where will we see Ben Beard in 10 years, 5, 10, 15 years? Who will you be?
Well, I shared with you my big goal. We want to become a big national home building company. I kind of have some ideas about what that timeline is going to look like, but we're trying to be omnipresent. We want to be everywhere. So I've got my own podcast. I'm doing the Ben Beard Show, where I'm interviewing construction industry professionals, because as a young guy coming into the industry, I struggle still to this day to find mentors of people. There's not a lot of home builders that write books about how they built their successful home building company, and so I want to introduce very successful construction professionals to the rest of us that don't know them or aren't, coworkers with them, so we can find somebody we can model and mimic our careers after, and find ways to be successful that we hadn't thought of before. So I'm doing that. Red Cliff Homes, we're in Las Cruces, New Mexico. We're going to expand from there. I'm on social media and trying to be as active as I can be there, and get involved with our local home builders association, and involved with the Builder 20 group through the NAHB as well.
Nice. And I have no doubt, like I said, in 10 years, that you're going to be that top 10 builder. So it could be 5 years, could be 2 years, but you're going to be there. So no doubt about it. Last question, what this show is all about. Obviously, what exactly do people need to look for their next construction project, and why should they choose Ben Beard as their builder of choice?
Well, I think, as we talked about right now, this market's a little bit crazy, and people need to just look for somebody that has the attitude and the heart to take care of them, and give them peace of mind in their project. At the end of the day, I think that's what anybody building a home wants. They want to know that their home's going to be built right, hopefully as quickly as possible. But as we know, every home is at this point in time still built by hand, and people are imperfect. So yeah, there's going to be mistakes in the project, but we're going to back it up and take care of it. That's the key to me.
Love it, Ben. This has been awesome. I really do appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy guy. Construction, we're nuts right now, so I appreciate your time on this one. Last thing, real quick, where can people find and connect with you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Ben Beard Official, and Red Cliff Homes is at Red Cliff Homes NM, like New Mexico. Facebook.com/Red Cliff Homes. I think I'm on Facebook personally too, Ben Beard. I try and be pretty easy to find. LinkedIn. I think we're also on Twitter with Red Cliff Homes. Pinterest. Wherever we can be, we're going to be.
There you go. Awesome, man. I really do appreciate you coming on today. This has been awesome. I mean, us being in construction, I know we can go for probably another 2 hours talking shop, but I do appreciate having you today.
Hey, thanks, Bill. This is fun.
Yeah. So everybody listening, I appreciate you all listening. You guys know the routine. Like, comment, 5-star reviews only are accepted on iTunes, obviously. Comment on iTunes. It takes you 2 seconds. I appreciate you all, and I will see you on the next episode.